It is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by T-Mobile. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan along for the ride as well. Boy, you wake up on a Tuesday, you never know what's going to greet you in the baseball world. And unfortunately for the Philadelphia Phillies, that is a brand new manager. Rob Thomson is out. He took over in the interim from Joe Girardi 4 seasons ago, led the Phillies to the World Series, has led them to 3 more playoff appearances since, but because of a 9-19 record, tied with the New York Mets for the worst record in baseball, and being 10.5 games back of the Atlanta Braves, he is out and has been replaced by former big league skipper Don Mattingly. How shocked are you?
I don't think we're shocked at all. I know I just was on here, I think yesterday, saying I think Carlos Mendoza has more of a shot to get fired than Rob Thomson. Here I am eating my words, I guess. But I'm not shocked at all because this has kind of been discussion. You mentioned the record, 9-19. I do think the timing of it is funny. And then, we learned a little bit about kind of why this happened. Alex Cora gets fired from the Red Sox. So, a lot of times it is a copycat league and people feel emboldened after that to do the same thing. But Bob Nightingale putting out that Alex Cora was offered this job after Thompson was put down, that's kind of an interesting, plot twist in this whole thing. Like, if Alex Cora wasn't available, is Rob Thomson still the manager? Is Alex Cora that valuable that you're like, you know what, let's move on anyway and go try to get this guy? I don't know. That whole thing is interesting to me, but not surprised about the move because this is a Phillies team that obviously has World Series aspirations, and they weren't getting the job done. Now, of course, it's not all Rob Thompson's fault. A lot of guys in that lineup not pulling their weight. Some of the starting pitching not pitching the way they need to. But as Shelfie put it, a lot of times to get real change in the organization, a scapegoat has to appear, and I kind of feel like it's Rob Thomson here. And maybe there's a little bit more to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll find out maybe a little bit more about the order of sacrifice, if you will. I would imagine that the Phillies will have a press conference sometime before their game on Tuesday to kind of clarify things. My guess is, though, that when the media goes into the clubhouse, those guys are going to feel like shit. They just are. And ever since they made it to the World Series in 2022 and lost in 6 games to the Astros, they just haven't been able to duplicate that postseason success. And I don't know how much of that half step back every season since then has factored into and added on to the slow start and just saying, hey, look, we just need a new voice, period. And maybe that's Don Mattingly that can help us get there. Ironically enough, it was Mattingly that was replaced by Dave Roberts. And ever since then, Dave Roberts has been able to take the Dodgers now to 3 World Series rings and now consecutive. And you're talking about a Hall of Fame managerial run that Dave Roberts has been on. So do you think that Don Mattingly is the right guy? I don't know. It kind of reeks a little bit of desperation, does it not?
I mean, yeah, again, it's a scapegoat. It's probably fan base appeasing. Here's the thing too, though. Last year, the whole Castellanos episode, I think a lot of people probably wrote that off to, well, he's just not happy being there, wanted a different type of playing time. He wasn't performing. And now maybe you look at it in a different light saying, well, did Rob Thomson kind of like lose the, edge a little bit? And not that he's not a good guy or a good manager. And in fact, I think Rob Thompson's both of those things, a good guy and a good manager. But I've been in situations, and this happened with Ron Gardenhire when I was there too. It's like you lose the edge a little bit. You do. You're there. You've been there a while. He's been around the game for so long that sometimes there needs to be a change or like maybe some youth involved, again, just to keep that edge.
Yeah, but
Does that make any sense?
Don Mattingly's not young.
Well, it's a
Guy's
change.
It is change, and Don Mattingly's not a fire and brimstone guy at all. That's
Yeah,
not
but
who he is.
it's the edge comes back because of change. When people are like, "Oh shit, we just fired Rob Thomson." And
Yeah.
like it shouldn't take that to like get you going if you're the Philadelphia Phillies and you have again these World Series aspirations, but every once in a while, it is needed.
I don't know if in my diatribe earlier that I said that Don Mattingly's son, Preston, is actually the GM and reports to the team president, Dave Dombrowski. So,
Yeah, he's
you
not
know,
he's not making that decision though.
no, of course not. I
Yeah.
I I can't even imagine that they went up to him other than to say, "Hey, we're gonna offer your dad the job." He was just the bench coach, and so he moves in the next chair over. I also don't know if that means that they are gonna look for somebody else with Bob Nightingale. I mean, does it shock you that they went after Alex Cora, according to Nightingale?
It does. Yes, it does. Um,
Do you remember did I ask yesterday on this show the possibility of Alex Cora going? Because I know I brought it up on a
I
Toronto
think we
radio.
said Mets.
I think we would have said Phillies just because of his relationship with Dombrowski. Remember, they were tied at the hip to help the Red Sox win in 2018. I think I brought it up on a Toronto radio show that I was on
Okay.
yesterday. And they were like, wow, that sounds super interesting. And apparently, according to Nightingale, Cora said, I want to just spend more time with my family. He is making $7 million
Yeah.
this season and $7 million next season. So he can be very choosy. Now, it is interesting. I went back and looked. There were 2 times in the last 50 years where a team has changed managers and gone on to win the World Series. Now, the Phillies in 2022, as I mentioned, Joe Girardi booted after 51 games. Tom Topper comes in, leads them to the World Series. They did not win it. In 2003, the Marlins fired Jeff Torborg, I believe, after a 16-22 start. Trader Jack McKeon came in. They won the whole thing. They knocked off the Yankees in 6. They won their second ever World Series. In 1978, the Yankees, they fired Billy Martin. They brought in Bob Lemon, who had been fired a month earlier by the Chicago White Sox. So he took a month off, then took over the Yankees and won the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So it's happened a couple of times. Do we believe that it can happen this time with the Phillies?
God, I don't think a manager is going to change it. I mean, it's obviously on the players to get it going. It does make sense now that I start to think about it. If you have a roster like this, um, you probably aren't going to go with somebody new or young, like I was saying before. You probably
Mhm.
want someone, at least for this year, to finish it out that's like knows what they're doing, been there, done that in the big leagues. So that, the Alex Cora offer makes sense. Don Mattingly taking over in the interim makes sense. Do I think the Phillies can come back and win the whole World Series? Yes, I do. I'm not writing them off completely. 9-19 sucks, but um, we've seen teams. Well, probably not at 9-19 come back and win the World Series in the history, but we've seen teams overcome large deficits before and get back. And look, all if the Phillies got into the playoffs as a wild card team, whether it's the 6 seed or the 3 seed, I think we would say, okay, they got a shot. So that's all that really needs to happen. The National League looks like the better of the two leagues right now, and I mean, what do you think the win total is going to be to get into playoffs in the National League? Do you think it's going to be over like 86 games? Do you think it's going to be like 87 gets you in?
Yeah, I would say 87, 88.
That's
I
kind of
think
a
that's
blistering pace. So I don't know, man. I think it can happen. Probably not
yeah.
likely.
Yeah, I mean, teams win 9 out of 28 games at some stretch during the year. It's just when it happens right out of the gate, it's glaring. But you mentioned it. Here's some of the problems. Christopher Sanchez, awesome. Zach Wheeler just made his return and had his first start over the weekend. So you feel like you can count on him. Jesus Luzardo got that huge extension. His ERA is almost 7. Aaron Nolas is over 6. Painter has had some moments, but not a ton. You look at the offense, sure, they've got a couple of guys that are playing great, but they've gotten virtually nothing out of their right-handed hitting. I mean, they're putting guys in the middle of their lineup. Felix Reyes, two games into his career, was hitting cleanup in this lineup. Like, what are we doing? So this is incumbent on the players. It's not anything that Don Mattingly's going to do. Let me just ask you this, yes or no? If Alex Cora was still in Boston, would Rob Thomson still be in Philly right now?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think so. Again, I think it allows the brain to kind of move forward with a decision, and not only that, but now that we've heard that he was offered the job, that's just crazy to me. What does
It's
that
not
mean?
crazy to me.
Well, let me ask you this:
Mhm.
so the Phillies are on the hook for Rob Thompson's contract. Don't know what it is. Red Sox
See,
on the hook for Alex Cora's contract. If the Phillies took over Alex Cora, are they paying Alex Cora or are the Red Sox paying Alex Cora?
So there's probably some sort of they could sign for.
Like, is he going to double dip?
No,
I get my
I
Red
don't.
Sox
I don't
money?
believe that you can double dip.
Well, if I was Alex Cora, that's what I would say. I want my Red Sox money and I want some more money.
That's a good question. Player contracts are obviously very different because there's offset language in player contracts. In terms
Also, if
of,
you're Alex Cora, yeah, I don't know, man. I would just take it to the house too.
yeah, I mean, like I said, we think that he's got younger kids. He might have a couple that are older, but we also think he's got younger
You're
kids.
going to earn $14 million to sit at home over the next 2 years? Sure.
And by the way, just in time for summer break, you do have younger kids. Like, this is perfect.
Dude, he's going to be riding that PJ everywhere, tweeting out happy and all the other stuff that he's been doing.
Yeah. All right. So now let's answer this question. Are the Phillies making the playoffs?
Oh, God, Chris. I have him in the World Series, dude. I have him in the World Series preseason.
Then you say yes.
If the NL Central continues to play like this, no, they will not make the playoffs.
Well,
so I am going to say right now, no.
I'm going to say yes.
That's crazy. Who are they going to get in above?
They're only 6.5 out. Dude, by the beginning of June, they're going to be no more than 3 games back in the wild card standing.
Dodgers? Okay? Are you giving the Padres? Are you giving the Padres?
Okay. They're playing great. Maybe. Sure.
You're going Brewers, Cubs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Braves?
Yeah.
Okay, then they got to beat out. Let's see. They got to beat out.
I think they have to. Yeah, they have to beat out a third NL Central team. I would go 2 in the West. I would definitely go 2 in the Central, and then
division winner.
They've got to beat out a team, a Cincinnati, a Pittsburgh, or St. Louis.
And you're just Mets are just seated.
Yeah, Mets are out.
And Diamondbacks, Snakes, Giants.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I would love to see it, Chris. I would love to see it. This is my team. I want them to win a World Series. I want Bryce Harper to have that ring.
Yep. That's a tough go. All right, what do you think? Is it done? 10.5 out in the East, 6.5 out of the wild card. Does this make any dent at all on Philly's season? Does it lift them up just like Topper did in 2022? Leave something in the comments. Let us know why it's gone terribly wrong. And Mets fans, do you want to see your team do the same? I hate even bringing this up, but I got to ask it. Does Carlos Mendoza make it through the week? No? So Steve Cohen's going to be like, damn it.
Do you think Alex Cora takes that job? There's no
Uh-uh.
way, dude. Don't do that. Alex Cora. Here's my advice.
I would take this job over that job.
Alex Cora, just hang out with the kids, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, you can't take a job if you're Alex Cora. You can't.
No. Why? I don't know.
I don't think you can. All right, today's episode, Baseball Today, is sponsored by Amazon. When life throws you a curveball, Amazon's everyday low prices on essentials helps you save every day. Amazon has everything you need, whenever you need it. From planned purchases, unexpected moments, they've got everything in one single place. It saves you time and money so you can focus on what matters most. And for me, what matters most is focusing on baseball. I love doing Baseball Today. I love doing dugout discussions. Today, I'm running down to Dodger Stadium to go film some content with the Miami Marlins. If I had to run around from this place to that place to get my everyday needs, I don't have time to bring you great content. So from tech to clothing to everyday essentials, anything else you need to prepare for the start of this baseball season, Amazon has everything you need all in one convenient place and can deliver right to you anytime, anywhere. Whether it's routine shopping or handling life's curveballs, shop Amazon. Save on the essentials. Save the everyday. All right. There wasn't a lot of action on Monday, but the stuff we got was really fun. J.J. Weatherholt, what a happy homecoming. Kid grew up in Mars, Pennsylvania, which is about 25 miles north of where the Pirates play their home games. And did he feel any pressure to perform in front of the hometown fans? Nah.
Here's the 3-2. Swing, high fly ball, deep right center field, at the track, at the wall. J.J. Weatherholt ties it up.
It's crazy. I was telling the umpire out there, I was like, yeah, I got a lot of Pirates fans that are Cardinal fans today. So, yeah, the town really showed out, a bunch of family and friends here. Just people so excited for me, and I just couldn't be more grateful.
So he had the back end of back-to-back homers that tied the game. They tacked on 2 more. They end up getting another come-from-behind win in the Steel City. This kid is just another one of those rookies where I've been so impressed with this class. It just feels like they feel like they're 5 to 7 year veterans, some of these kids.
I mean, on this team, he's not too far off from being a veteran, to be honest with you. And yeah, I mean, just the way, especially playing like a infield position, premium position, and being able to kind of come through for your team like that in front of like your family and friends, it does show a lot of maturity. There's no doubt about it. He's been a treat to watch, Chris.
Yeah, it's really it's cool. He's done a great job. I did a little reading on him. He had a birthday party as a kid at that stadium. He was actually late to his own birthday party because one of the parents couldn't find a parking spot and whatever. He was celebrating last night, so that's cool. The Cardinals, we spent a lot of time on this show, unfortunately, the first month talking about some big-time disappointments. Phillies, Red Sox, Mets, Jays were slow out of the gate, the whole bit. But are the Cardinals maybe the opposite side of this, the biggest surprise for you?
One of for sure, because we talked about them coming into this year and just saying like, let's see what we got, let the kids play. And if you listened or read some of Heimblum's like talks about the team coming in, it was a lot of like threading the needle type stuff. Yeah, we don't want to say we're in a rebuild. We want to give these guys a chance. We still want to be competitive this year. And usually it's like when you got 2 QBs, you don't got any QBs type situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to pick a direction. I always say that. They're kind of doing the improbable right now. They have all these young guys, and if you listen to them talk, this position player core, a lot of times, especially Mason Wynn was talking about how it's important that they're all like the same age and they're all kind of coming up together and they're bonding together. And they do. If you look at the roster, like I like this collection of young position players. Now, like the bullpen has been great, save a few people. But they have been winning close games, and a lot of that is a testament to like the defense that they've been playing. Again, some of these young guys stepping up. Like not only Jordan Walker has been great, but a guy like Nathan Church coming up and playing great defense out there, timely home runs. Like they've kind of bought in together, and they're talking about playing a certain way of baseball. And I don't know if Cardinals fans want me to say it, but they're playing like the Cardinal way a little bit. They're buying into that. So in that sense, Chris, there is a direction. Like Mason Wynn was talking, we're not here just to slug and hit homers. Like we want to, have good at bats, quality at bats, pass the baton, stuff like that. You're seeing that out of this group. And again, I'll say it, I'm very impressed by this position player, this core here that they have. There's a ton of them, and they're all going to be together for the foreseeable future. So I'm surprised at the start, but now I have expectations for this franchise. Maybe not lofty ones this year, but certainly in the near future for this group.
Well, I'll admit, I was looking at a 90-loss season for them. I really thought there was no way they were going to get around it, and that the only way they could be successful if guys like Weatherhold got to experience it this year. You keep your fingers crossed that maybe Jordan Walker finally gets it in year 4 or whatever this is for him. And they have done significantly more than that. Here's what I love about this team, and I'm happy for Ali Marmol. They've got 16 wins. In 10 of them, they've come from behind to get a W. That's incredibly mature for a young team, finding ways to scrap. They were getting no hit through 6 2/3 last night, and they come back and win the freaking game. Like, that is awesome. You're down 2-0. You hadn't scratched anything across. Back-to-back homers in the 9th. Put up a 4-run frame on the road against a team that's kind of puffing its chest out a little bit. Good for them. Now, do I temper the expectations? Absolutely. They are the only pitching staff in baseball that hasn't registered 200 strikeouts. They don't have enough swing and miss. Michael McGreevy has pitched very well for them in the rotation. Everybody else has been okay at times. They don't have enough swing and miss, in my opinion. And so I still think we're going to find at the end of the year that they're going to settle into 4th or 5th in that division, but that might not be that terrible based on what we've seen out of the National League Central this year.
I mean, if you have a good infield defense, you don't necessarily need a ton of swing and miss. I'm with you on that as well. But hey, don't look now. But Dustin May over his last 4 starts,
Pitched much better.
23 in the 3rd innings pitched to a 1.93.
It's great.
Only 4 walks in those innings. He's only struck out 15, but I watched him throw a couple times. A lot of movement on his pitches like usual. That would be a lot of fun if we're talking about Dustin May, come June, July, like sneaky all-star bid or something like that. That's a long way to go.
I think he's wearing number 3 too. And when you're that tall,
I root for the guy.
Root for the guy. Heck yeah, the guy almost died eating a salad.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, I'm rooting for him. I didn't know he had pitched that well. I saw him last night.
Well, I can point out that he pitched against Boston. Offense not hot right now. Cleveland, love you guys. Not the best offense in the world, although we'll talk about some improvements coming. And then it was what am I looking at right now?
Doesn't matter.
Miami and Detroit. Or excuse me, Miami and Pittsburgh.
Pitch against whoever's on the schedule.
Yeah.
Not gonna blame that. All right, this episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. Baseball regular season, we're a month in. NBA, NHL playoffs are in full swing. Don't forget about the World Cup coming to North America this summer. That is why we want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a tremendously huge shout out. Over 35 million downloads, over 70,000 listed events. That combination has made SeatGeek the #1 rated ticketing app around. Now, each ticket, this is what I love, is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know that you're getting the best deal. And look for the color-coded dots. Green dot, great deal for you. Red dot, stay away from it, right? You could look at the map of an NBA arena and see floor seats, and there's red dots. Like, how the heck could this be? They're the best seats in the house. Maybe for your sight lines, but not for your wallet. And SeatGeek's always looking out for you. And guess what? I also got a code for you guys. Use the code BASEBALL2026. That's all one word typed together. 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code BASEBALL2026. Just click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later as well. All right, let's head out west. Fun one last night between the Padres and the Cubs. There wasn't a lot of scoring in that wild card series between those two teams. They certainly tried to make up for it. And then the world's best closer, did his consecutive scoreless streak continue?
They struck him out, the Padres win. Well, an unusual outing for Mason Miller, but a 9-7 Padres victory.
It was an unusual one for Mason Miller. He came in with a 4-run lead. He gave up his first runs of the year, and it all started on kind of a swinging bunt that trickled down the third base line. It was not Manny Machado over there. It was Ty France. He thought he picked it up in foul territory. The umpire said it was fair. It is a non-reviewable play. What say you?
I mean, it was foul. Clearly, there was multiple camera angles that showed that ball completely on the foul side of the chalk line. Ty France did exactly what you're supposed to do, and they just missed it. And you could tell the home plate umpire was like, shoot, can we – because after Stammen went out there, he's like, oh, can we review this? Is there any way we can overturn this? And I guess per the rules, there just isn't. It's in front of the bag, so you can't review it. I thought maybe there's a chance if the third base umpire was also there that they'd be able to say, because they're both standing right there. And the problem with the home plate umpire is he didn't get on, like, he was like kind of behind France, and Ty France is a big boy. I don't think he saw the space between the chalk line and the ball right there.
Well, that led to it, and then the Cubs just started knocking Mason Miller around the yard. And so 34 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings, that's where the streak ends. Somebody has to explain why that's not reviewable.
I have no idea. In back of the bag, reviewable. In front of the bag, not reviewable. Every play should probably just be reviewable.
I mean, am I new to this game? Are things in front of the bag not as important as things in back of the bag?
I don't know, dude.
Seriously,
It's a strain. The things you can challenge and can't challenge are we need to, we should all just sit down and just say, let's just agree. You can just challenge every play.
Who came up with that in the meeting? Because there is a meeting, or probably several of them, and they go over a checklist of what's reviewable and what's not. Who suggested that play is not reviewable? And I want a name, and I want their job title. It's got to be intern. That's got to be an intern who thought they were making a difference, and somebody was like, sounds good.
I'm very curious as to why that is. It's just maybe they think it's just easier to see because they're ground balls, and you have the
Obviously not.
You have the base as a reference point. I don't know, man.
0 cents. Zero.
There's not. The thing is, there were both. Like I said, both of them were just right there. You think they could be like, "Hey, man, I'm not actually sure." Now that Craig's come out here, did you see something different? But nope.
All right, the other part of this, these are two contenders. Who are you more positive on? Padres, Cubs moving forward?
I think I'm more on the Cubs. I'm a Padres guy. I think they're good every single year. I root for them and kind of I just like watching their team play. And maybe it's a part of watching that stadium fill up, and the announcers that they have are so great. It's an entertaining product, if you will. But I think the Cubs are just a better overall roster, longer lineup. I think the starting pitching depth is obviously better with the Cubs. Bullpen you're going to give to the Padres, but the Cubs have found their way with that as well. So I think over 162, I'm going Cubs. But I don't. If the Padres play to like their maximum ability, I think they can play with anybody. But I think overall the depth and length of roster, I'm going Cubs.
I can't believe we're this far into the season and Tatis still hasn't gone deep, has he? It's incredible. I actually think there's more room for growth for the Padres than the Cubs because I am worried that too many guys are ending up in the blue tent.
A lot of them are, but can't you spin that the other way?
Yeah, but I don't know how many of them are coming back super soon. They've got now 11 pitchers on their 40-man that have spent time on the injured list. Holy smokes. Jed Hoyer, their president of baseball ops the other day, said, I looked up at the standings. I felt we were 70 games in based on the number of pitchers we've used. It was 28. Like, that's a bad sign that they are talking about. Like, they can feel the pitching tidal wave coming at them, and they just don't have enough resources to run fast away from it. And that's what I'm worried that eventually. Now, they did get some good news. Phil Maton is back. Matthew Boyd got activated recently, so that's all good. But we don't know. Palencia, it sounds like he's getting closer. But Thielbar, Hunter Harvey, those guys they don't know exactly when they're coming back. So it's just kind of like survival mode for them at this point. So unless their starting pitching gives them into the 7th, they are just going to be praying that they get the last 8 to 11 outs every night. And I don't know if they can do that on a consistent basis. That worries me a little.
Agreed. I just think that you talk about room for growth. Michael Busch really hasn't gotten going offensively.
Nope,
Peter Armstrong hasn't really gotten going offensively. I think that to me, so the Padres can rely on a couple things. They can rely, the bullpen's going to be there. So at the end of the game, if they have the lead or they're tied, you're banking on the Padres to win the game. The Cubs fans can bank on a great defense to keep them in games as well. Mm-hmm. And Cubs fans will probably dismiss that, or maybe they won't. But unless you root for a team that has bad defense, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Like, good defense keeps you in so many freaking games. It just deflates the opposing offense so much. I don't know. I think the Cubs are a better team. I do.
I mean, I had them winning the division. I don't even think I had the Padres making the playoffs. I'd have to go back and look. But
just the Padres starting pitching still is There's
Yeah,
still not a
Vasquez
lot
got
of
knocked around for the
there's
first
still
time
not
last
a lot
week.
of depth there. We know that's a problem. They've had Vasquez been pretty good for them this year. Not pretty good. He's been really good for them.
Great.
I love me some Michael King. After that, it gets a little shaky.
Well, they're keeping their fingers crossed that Griffin Canning is coming back soon,
And
and he was
Lucas.
exceptional for the Mets last year. Giolito is starting to get rehab assignments, so as long as he doesn't take too many line drives to the beard, he should be okay. Joe Musgrove, hopefully. Listen, you know what? The big determining factor between these two teams could be the health of Justin Steele and when he comes back, because he was so good when he was healthy. So I don't know. Be fun. Leave it in the comments. Which one of these teams do you trust more? I think it's pretty close. Really close. I'm just worried about the Cubs having too much pitching on the injured list.
PCA still racking up the WAR. I mean, he's got a 1-1 B WAR right now with a 620 OPS, 35 Ks to 8 walks, 305 OBP. It's just that defense is such a killer.
Yeah, it is. Killer in a good way. All right, now it's time for Baja Blasts of the Week. It's presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast, where we take a look at all the 420-foot-plus home runs from the baseball world over the last week. So we're going to start with number 5, Colson Montgomery. Spent a lot of time talking about his teammate, but this guy can rake.
That was the game. I think, did they go back to back right here
think
against Merrill
so.
Kelly? Yeah, I mean,
Gosh, that's 440.
I used to love the hit in that park, Chris. I know it's changed now a little bit, but I think still, if you put one up in there, that thing's gone.
The other side of Chicago, say you, say me. 440. He's had 5 homers in his last 7 games.
990 OPS on the year. He's getting it done, man. Looks healthy, looks just strong in his legs, and he knew that one was gone. My goodness.
Did you mention strong? How about Junior Caminero?
Oh
my God.
I watched this
449.
He swings the bat really hard, as hard as anybody in the big leagues, and that going dead center up top of the batter's eye like that in Tampa is, I mean, he went up and got that fastball. Top of the zone.
Wow. Murakami, let's do it. He hit another one last night. This isn't it. This one went 450 out in Arizona, but he leads the show with 12 homers.
I mean, he's got the juice. He's got the juice, man. What are they going to do with him, Chris?
What do you mean, what are they going to do with him?
Are
They
they
might
gonna
extend him.
Are they going to extend him?
Dude, he could get so much money in a year and a half.
So you just keep him for 2 years when you're most likely going to be non-competitive? You have to try to extend him like ASAP.
Hold the Mayo. Kobe Mayo really turned on one in Kansas City.
Oh, where'd this one
451.
go? Oh, where did that
That's a long
go?
way in that yard, isn't
Did
it?
that go over the fountain?
I think so.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's a tough park to hit one in. I have like 1, maybe 2 homers there. I played a lot of games.
Yeah, that's not an easy one. You got to crank it pretty good, even though they moved the fences in this year. So remember, for this baseball season, keep a close eye on the 420-foot-plus home runs that unlock your free Baja Blast today.
Did you say crank it pretty good?
Crank it.
Yeah, all right.
It's true. Keep your eye on the Tampa Bay Rays. All they do is win, even if you don't pay attention to them. They've won 5 in a row. Guardians threatened in the 9th, down 1, runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, but they couldn't complete the comeback.
Here's the 1-2. He struck him out. Baker prances off the mound and says good night. Striking out Sheeman to nail it down for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he actually struck out the last 2 hitters, Valera and then Schneemann, and preserved the 1-run win. So Cleveland, in the meantime, has now lost 3 straight. The big news with them is they are calling up their top prospect, the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 draft, second baseman Travis Bazzana. How excited should Cleveland fans be?
Well, I mean, very excited if you're asking me. This is a team that's always looking for offense. I feel like you got some guys off to some really nice starts. Chase DeLauder's been, I think very good for how old he is in this game. Angel Martinez has found his stroke. You know what Stephen Kwan's going to bring to the table, although he hasn't really, obviously done it this year. He'll be there. The numbers will be where they're at. So now we're looking at 4 to 5, like if Bazana is who we think he is, 4 to 5, like pretty good hitters deep. Plus you got playoff Rocchio already in form. Like I think you have to be very excited, Chris. You tell me. I'm looking at this team and it scares me that if I'm thinking about the Cleveland Guardians with 4 or 5 good hitters in their lineup, that scares me as a Twins fan.
What did I tell you at the beginning of the year about the offense?
Stephen Kwan can't be your second best offensive player.
Right. And Chase DeLauter got off to a ridiculous start through the first 7 or 8 games and hasn't gone deep since then. He's had some good at-bats, got a couple knocks last night, and he's young, but he's been primarily their 2-hole hitter. Kwan has not been very good this year. Austin Hedges has been their most dependable catcher on both sides of the ball, and it's not even close. So, Bo Naylor, don't know where you are. Here's the thing with Bazana. Part of the reason they drafted him was they love his makeup. They love his grittiness, and he fits the profile. It feels like everybody they bring up is left-handed and short. I don't know if they have a problem with people over 6 feet, but they just do, and right-handed hitting, because they don't do that. And I don't know what it is, but here's
okay.
What do you got?
I have a theory on the short. I think short. We talked about this a little bit on Talking Baseball. I think short guys are cheaper, and they're under-scouted. I think you can find value in that because they're not, blowing the numbers off the charts, and they don't have like the stature or whatever it is. They go under-scouted. So teams like Milwaukee does this. Teams like the Guardians, teams that are trying to find victories in the margins. They're trying to. Where are teams not looking for talent? And I think a lot of the times it's like a smaller statured guy, and you can find deals on them. Bazana, I'm sure, took less than slot.
Totally did. That's part of the thing moving forward that I'm going to be closely watching, because I have mentioned several times on this show this year alone about that 2024 draft class. Here we go. Bazana went 1. Chase Burns went 2. They weren't looking for a pitcher, so he was out. Kurtz went 4. We know what he did last year. Caglione went 6, another monster. Weatherholt went 7, very much in the mold of Bazana. Christian Moore went 8. We've seen him already. Connor Griffin went 9. That's all just in the top 10 alone. Those are guys that could have been considered for the number 1 overall pick. So it's not just watching what Bazana does. You're watching what he does compared to these other guys, because it's the first time ever Cleveland had the number 1 pick in the modern era, and they could have gone any direction. And so they went
Australian, bro.
They took an Australian that is not tall enough to ride all the rides at Disneyland.
It's an interesting pick. So under slot means they have more for other picks. I don't know what the rest of their draft was that year. If they were able to bump somebody up in the 3rd or 4th round, I don't know.
They did. They picked a right-hander. I think his name is Oki. He was a kid out of high school, tall, right-hander, big curveball, fastball. So yeah, they were able to do that. There's no question. That's part of the equation.
A lot of the time I start thinking about what are these teams focused on? Okay, we have the ABS now, like a smaller strike zone for these guys. Is that something they're looking at? Obviously, the left-handed thing's interesting. More right-handers in the game than left-handers, and maybe some of that lefty stuff is getting combated by the traject system. So is there something to that? You always want to be in the platoon advantage more often than not with lefties in your lineup. You will be. You can only carry so many left-handed relievers in a pen because we have a 13 pitcher limit. So like there's a lot of things about these kind of moves that you just watch what the Guardians and the Brewers do. Like they're trying to go opposite and find, like I said, value where other teams aren't.
All right, there was another part of this game. So the Rays won twice, really, in this game, on the scoreboard and in the hearts of at least one Cleveland fan family. Daniel Schneemann hits an opposite field home run, so it goes over the tall wall in left field. Guy with a beard has it hit right off his hands. it rolls toward this little girl. She looks like maybe she's 9 and 10, something like that. He rips the ball out of her hands, and she's in tears. She's with the rest of her family, including her brother. Here's Ryan Bass, who is the game reporter for the Rays. He saw it happen. The Rays TV crew saw it. He goes out and gives her a baseball. Classy. I texted with Ryan afterward, told him how proud I was of him, how he did the right thing. Eventually, I think the younger brother went over to the dude who stole the ball and was like, come on, man. And he didn't do anything. And then a few innings later, eventually gave her the ball, the home run ball. So eventually he did the right thing. I was pissed off, man. I was not happy about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible look for the guy. And here's the thing. Just do the right thing.
Right.
Initially, I guarantee the TV crew is going to pick up you doing the right thing, giving her the ball, and they'll probably give you a ball, dude. If you really need one that badly, they would have done that. Just, make good decisions, people. I don't know.
To me, that seemed like a layup, but maybe are we too close to it? That's the one thing I said. Let's say that dude hasn't gotten a ball, and I don't know that he hasn't. I don't follow that guy.
Okay, here's the thing. You can still say, I caught the home run ball, but then you gave it away. You don't need the ball. Like, you have the experience. You did it. You can tell people. You have the video of you getting the ball and then you doing something really nice and giving it to the girl. Not really nice, just kind of like the right thing to do. You don't need the ball. In fact, here's what I'll say to people. If you're an adult, and look, I bring a glove to the game. I'm trying to catch a ball. I'm in.
Yep.
If you're an adult and you catch a ball, and this is for like 99% of adults, I'm sure there's exceptions everywhere, but give it away to a kid near you. Like, you don't need the ball. You have the experience. You could tell people, take a picture with it real quick, and then say, yeah, but I gave it to a kid. Your experience level goes from here to here just because you did the right thing. I don't know. You should never keep the ball if you're an adult.
So
unless it's like a Shohei. A Shohei homer is
like a 50-50 ball making history. Then, so if that had been it and he had ripped it out of her hands, what would we have said today?
Ooh, if it was Shohei, well, I think there'd be more people out there like going for the ball. If that was exact scenario and it was Shohei's 50-50 ball,
and
I think you still, I don't know, dude. I think you're
question.
like I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's a good question.
Because
now all of a sudden we're talking about possibly
that's hundreds of thousands of dollars
minimum.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Now all of a sudden we're not doing the right thing, are we?
I'm trying to find a way out of it. In my mind, if it's just you and a little girl going for it, I still think you got to give it to the little girl and just hope that like somebody sees it and you get like, I don't know, a signed bat or something.
No way. Let us know in the comments section what if
it's
if it's a valuable ball, if it's somebody's 500th home run or a Shohei 50-50, then all bets are off, right?
I have an idea.
What do you got?
You say let's
Split
because
it?
if you have one of those balls, say it's a 500 home run ball, you're going to give it back to the guy anyway. You're not going to sit down there and sell it. You say, let's go together. Let's go together down there and meet him. This is both of our ball. Right?
But what happened to Dan? Look up. What happened to the 50-50 home run ball? He hit it in Miami, right?
They auctioned that ball off. I think it got like $1 million or more.
How in the world can you justify just being nice for $1 million?
Well,
it's
$4.3 million.
$4.3 million. Who the hell? You know what's going to happen? If you walked home and walked in the door and say, I caught Shohei's 50th home run ball, but I gave it away to a kid. You know what it would cost you? More than 4.3. It would cost you half your assets because Olivia's going to smack you on the head and walk out the door.
No, she wouldn't.
You're right.
That's like interesting question though, Chris, and I'm curious to see what our comment section says because no offense to Daniel Schneeman, great start to the year for my boy here. he maybe is your best hitter on your team right now. That's different than a Shohei 50-50 ball.
You think?
And that's kind of sad to say. I feel bad saying that. I feel like I
Wait,
should.
why do you feel bad saying it?
I feel like a opportunistic, money-driven person.
Scenarios change decisions.
You're 100% sure you're like, no, little girl, would you just like stiff arm?
No, because here's what it would be. It wouldn't be.
Hey,
You're
catch
right.
the ball in the first place, number one.
Yeah, dude, come on now. It wouldn't be just two people going after it. You're right. There'd be so many hands on it. You wouldn't even be able to discern who was whom in there. It would be like a football on the ground in the middle of a dog pile.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Last thing. Maybe the Red Sox made the right move after all. They're now 2-0 since Chad Tracy became their interim skipper. Ranger Suarez, a dominant performance. They lit it up north of the border. He took a no-hitter into the sixth. He ended up striking out 10. 5 shutout innings for the prize free agent left-hander. The big news continued to be the communication between Craig Breslow and many veteran members of the team, including Trevor Story. This is pregame.
You know, we talked about it. We hashed it out, and obviously you saw or heard how I felt yesterday about the whole situation. And it's part of the process. You know, it's having the conversations, having these tough conversations, and you know, whether you agree or disagree, I think at the end of the day we agreed that we want the Red Sox to win.
How long does this remain a hot topic?
If Alex Cora signs somewhere else, we'll continue to talk about it, but I don't think it'll stay around for that long. I mean, the news cycle is so fast these days. We just got another firing of a manager. Yeah, I just don't think it'll be around for a long time. It was a shock. We got it all out of our system. Clearly, Trevor Story is still not happy about it. But what's he supposed to do? He's got to go play. He's got to be the leader in the clubhouse that says, guys, no matter what's going on over there, it's us versus the world. We got to go out there and play a good ball. I don't think. I guess two things have to happen for it to continue to be a story. Number one, Alex Cora has to sign somewhere else. Or number two, if they keep winning and they go like on a run, then we'll start talking about it. We'll keep talking about it, being like, oh, maybe Alex Cora was the problem. Maybe they did need a spark, something like that. But I think if all goes as, you know, just like a normal, they win some, lose some, I don't think we'll be talking about this in by next week.
Yeah, I would say that I'm going to look at their schedule. I know they're home this weekend. They've got, let's see here. They got Houston at home this weekend for just a quick 3-game set. So they finish at Toronto on Wednesday, then just Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home, and then they're back on the road. So it'll continue to be a story through that really brief homestand. And then either they go on a great run or it's the opposite and they just continue to tank. Those are the only ways. If they're just kind of okay, we'll move on. It won't be that long a story. I will say this. Craig Breslow did talk to the media, and he said that I'm kind of doing an internal look at how I communicate. And he said, I encourage players to give feedback on that. So as I talk to guys, if they are comfortable sharing how information can be better delivered,
What is that, dude?
I want to listen.
What? You don't know how you communicate? You need to have an internal look at it? What does that even mean?
Well,
you
hold on here.
communicate or you don't, Craig.
No. I think you can totally change who you are, even as an older person.
Sure, but you know if you're doing a good job or not, dude. Come on. You need
Not
people
always.
to tell you if you're communicating enough. Let me tell you this. If you have to question it, you're not communicating enough. It's insane.
Can I think that the worst thing that we do in this country, and this is not a political stance, is have good leadership. I think our leadership has gone down the toilet, not only, politically, but in a lot of workplaces.
Disagree.
You do? You disagree with
dude.
leadership?
Get politics out of here because you're going to, some people think we have a great leader. Some people think we have the worst that's ever lived in this world. We're not talking politics here. I disagree with that.
You think workplace leader? You haven't worked in enough places.
I think there's plenty of good leaders in the world.
I don't think there is good workplace leadership for the most part. I really don't think so.
Well, I mean, maybe you've had a different experience now. Have you been in a more like a corporate setting?
And I think that's where most people land. And so
I'm kind of relaying it to baseball. I think there's a lot of good people in baseball, good leaders in baseball still.
okay. I think it's good to check in and see how you're doing.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes the message,
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I think sometimes the message you're trying to relay isn't heard the same way you hear it when you deliver it. I think it's good for him to do that.
Here's the thing. If you're questioning your communication skills, you're not communicating
Effectively?
enough.
Okay.
Like, that's the bottom line.
Would you like to be a boss?
I'm more I'm more optimistic about
Optimistic. Yeah. Would you like to be a boss?
future in our country than most people.
Okay.
Would I like to be a boss?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I run my household.
That's not
What else do I got to do? I coach a youth team. How about this?
Different.
How about this? Maybe I'll walk back my statement a little bit. There's plenty of people out there who can be leaders. We need more leaders to step up to be the leaders. We do need more male mentorship out of there for the young men. And you should really want to be that person for the next generation. You really should. Really need to give back. I think if we collectively as a society, and I really am just talking about the male population here, because I think there is really, you need to have strong male mentors for young boys. You really do. And there's a lot of guys out there that can do it, but you just have to put yourself out there in position to do it. Coach something, volunteer the Boys and Girls Club, whatever it is. Like, put yourself in a position where you can take, a young kid, a young boy, and say, look, man, this is like what being a man is about. I had really great mentors, and I believe in that fully.
It's great. And I appreciate you sharing that. Cool.
I don't know. Did I even say anything right there?
Yeah, you did. I think totally. Totally.
You're a great mentor to me. And you know what? I'm going to stop calling you my work dad. I'm going to call you my young uncle, my funkle.
My funkle?
Yeah.
It's okay. I know where I am. It's okay. Some days I feel like I'm 90. That's one of these days. Fighting
You're
through.
a great leader. You're a great communicator.
I appreciate it. Try to.
You're actually you're a better communicator than I am.
And that's not always true.
Yeah, it is.
You got a nice positivity. Me, I've got a little bit of a caustic side to it. Everybody goes, why are you always so grumpy? It's a good question. Try not to be. I try not to be, but I have to work on that.
You're grumpy at all.
What did Rourke put in the thing here? You guys are both my mentors, Rourke said in our chat. That's nice. All right, we're back at it again on Wednesday. Hopefully we won't have another managerial change, but you never know around here. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, who has turned into the great communicator, I am Chris Rose. We'll see you Wednesday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by T-Mobile.